Over 15 million tons of high-value goods are now moving around the US, not through it. While Washington raises tariffs, Canada and Mexico are quietly cutting America out of the supply chain. Picture this: you're throwing a perfect backyard barbecue, but no one shows up. That's America right now, locked out of its own party, while its closest neighbors build a new future without it. In mid-July, as Trump pushed a 30% EU tariff, Canada and Mexico signed a $120 billion trade deal. No US involvement. No flashy photo ops, just one signature creating the Northern Corridor, Mexico to Canada, bypassing the US entirely. And while DC boasted, they acted. Canada capped steel imports, slapped 50% tariffs on overages, and stopped depending on America. Mexico, meanwhile, moved air battery production deeper inland, cutting off exposure to Washington's political whiplash. They even launched blockchain-powered customs, so goods move Canada to Mexico without touching US soil. This isn't about tariffs. It's about removing America from the economic driver's seat. With fewer US checkpoints, fewer US contracts, and fewer US firms in control, the US is losing power, not just profits. Before we go deeper, if you're finding this story eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe to the Untold Compass, and drop a comment below. Your support helps us unpack the stories others miss. Now back to the breakdown. It started at Ford and GM, plants paused, production scaled back, parts stuck in Canada and Mexico. The supply chain doesn't trust America anymore. Not because of price, because of unpredictability. Trump's sudden tariffs, NAFTA threats, and rigid rules turned allies into cautious bystanders. One Canadian official summed it up: "We used to be friends, now we're just a target." While America plays politics, Ottawa invests. While DC talks big, Mexico builds. 360,000 EVs will now be built in Canada or Mexico. Not in the US, that's 108,000 US jobs at risk and rising. Canadian tourism to the US dropped 33% in June alone. Entire border towns are bleeding. And yet Washington celebrates tariff revenue while shelves go empty and gas hits $5 in the Midwest. Factories are quiet. Assembly lines are still. Inflation's ticking up. But the real problem? Trust is crashing. Toledo families skipping meals. Corner stores in Indiana scrambling for supplies. Hope feels like a campaign ad. Three paths now: America stays sidelined, America begs to rejoin, or Canada and Mexico go global. Without the US, the new corridor could cost the US $14.5 billion annually in lost logistics and customs revenue. This isn't just a policy failure. It's a mindset failure. Canada builds policy like scaffolding. The US performs it like a show. In Toledo, the Miller family's EV plant just shut down for 6 weeks. Their fridge is full of worries. Ambassador Bridge. Once a symbol of NAFTA. Now it's a bypass route. No US transit allowed. Tariffs aren't the story anymore. Trust is. And America's trade partners. They're cashing out. Mexico now buys dairy exclusively from Canada, $3.2 billion over 7 years. US milk. Rejected, not on price, on ethics. One quiet customs slip. Does not meet ethical farming standards. Canadian milk, meanwhile, has QR traceability down to the cow. No hormones. No bone meal, no guesswork. They're not just selling milk. They're selling values. Mexico's younger, urban, ethical consumers. They chose trust. American milk might be cheaper. But cheap isn't enough anymore. Over 8,000 gallons dumped weekly by one Iowa farm. Their Mexico deal. Gone, no explanation. Over 6,000 small dairy farms shut down in 3 years. Most left behind by a system that still rewards the biggest players. Cheap wins at the top. But trust builds everything else. It's not just milk. American beef is blocked in Europe. GM grains are rejected in Asia. Even EVs with untraceable batteries are losing green subsidies abroad. Canada. Quietly exporting to 41 countries. Japan, Germany, France, all trust Canadian food. Because Canadian farmers aren't just compliant, they're connected, traceable, and respected. And while US policymakers pour money into subsidies, Canadian farmers build relationships. Trust beats price, every time. Now zoom out. Western Canada, Alberta, Saskatchewan, even parts of BC, they're tired of Ottawa too. WEXIT is gaining ground. 36% of Albertans support leaving Canada. They give more to the budget than they get back, $20 billion a year with little return. Alberta's oil powers the nation, but Ottawa blocks pipelines, pushes emissions laws, and cuts infrastructure. Alberta sees Quebec getting investments, while their own energy projects die. It's no surprise frustrations turning into separation. The Saskatchewan First Act just passed. BC urban centres are starting to waver. Manitoba's joining economic talks for a Western Bloc, less Ottawa, more independence. They're designing internal trade routes, energy deals, and investment plans. Not to divide the country, but to survive in it. The Western Canada Economic Plan is their backup generator. Ottawa's power, no longer reliable. They want autonomy. Self-reliance. Freedom from policies they didn't ask for. The message from Western provinces is clear. If you won't invest in us, we'll invest in each other. So whether it's milk or oil, tariffs or trust, America and Canada are both facing the same reckoning. It's not just about supply chains. It's about value chains. And if you lose trust, you lose everything. If this episode gave you a new lens on global trade, share it, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. This is the Untold Compass. Stay informed, stay curious.